we found that the Chinese regime has the biometrics of over 6 billion people on the planet. And they're taking this facial recognition, your family's facial recognition, your family's voice recognition, your social media, everything, and they're putting it in their digital brain that goes into their robotics and their humanoid robots and their animal robots, into their drones that they built that can be dispatched on the 5G network.
Cyrus, thank you for joining me. The AIorganization.com. You wrote the book, Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity. The crew is flashing your Twitter right there. We can pull up the book page, and we can pull up the AIorganization.com. But Cyrus, what is your motivation for originally concepting this book and then wanting to get it published?
I'm glad to be on your show. And actually, the motivation was started with this book, AI, Trump, China, and the Weaponization of Robotics with 5G, which was banned on Facebook. And throughout the world, they were masking this book. Whoever
Wait a second, what do you mean this book was banned on Facebook? Like you can't even link to it?
No. So on our launch day, we wanted to promote this book, right? So immediately it said it's political. And this is a human rights book. It's about warning humanity about the dangers of artificial intelligence, about China, about big tech. Automatically, they discount it. They tell me they want my home address. This is a corporate account by the AI organization. They want my home address. I appeal it. They said, you want to appeal it? You have to send us your home address. I'm the CEO. You want my home address? Here's a corporate. No, they won't take that. So I go to Twitter with it. And Twitter bans it right away for promotion. So I thought, let me remove the subtitle. Part of the subtitle ends with why the world needs to support the Trump administration against China's regime. As soon as I removed the word support the Trump administration, Twitter approved the promotions for that book.
Hold on. This is incredible. I didn't even know this coming on. You sent me an email about your new book. I said, hey, this is great. I want to get you on to talk about this. In fact, I got a whole list of things you want to go over. But this is amazing. So first, you can't market the book on Facebook basically because the word Trump is in it and not and a support of Trump. Then you do the same thing on Twitter. You move support, they get rid of it. This is incredible. So we got 2.5 minutes here. Focus on what happened there and really tell my audience. I didn't even know this.
So I start tweeting left and right. I try to go to different media outlets. Nobody will pick it up because I have Trump riding a horse. You have a robot there, which is really true. China's weaponizing robotics. And then you have Karl Marx on the bottom, on the left side. So we found extinction codes on the platform of socialism that attaches to artificial intelligence. That means when 5G comes in and the whole world is connected to 5G, every corporation and every country, every media outlet, every system structure that's based on a socialist platform, it syncs in with the AI system. This way they can control humankind in a very quick and effective way. Trump is the only person fighting that. So in this book, I didn't include the company names. We researched over 1,000 corporations, 500 Chinese corporations, 600 Western corporations, AI, robotics, and biometric companies. So then I decided to, which I hadn't planned anyway, to publish Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity, which revealed about 50 of our corporations and different entities and explained how it interlinks. Through our discoveries, we found that the Chinese regime has the biometrics of over 6 billion people on the planet. And they're taking this facial recognition, your family's facial recognition, your family's voice recognition, your social media, everything, and they're putting it in their digital brain that goes into their robotics and their humanoid robots and their animal robots, into their drones that they built that can be dispatched on the 5G network. So Huawei is not the only company. They're just one of the main infrastructures that connects China with Europe to the BRI, which is basically one belt, one road that connects the Middle East and Africa. They're everywhere. It's about chipping people. It's about connecting everybody with 5G. Then you have other companies come in. So in Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity, we disclose a bunch of companies. One of them is McVeigh Face++, or also known as Quanxi. That company is in the US, up in Seattle. It's open source. It's in China. It's in many places. Over 300,000 developers. They have almost 2 billion people's biometric data. This company alone. They have targeting systems. They can pick out thousands of people in the crowd. Within seconds, a drone or a robot can shoot the crap out of everybody. And if you're
all right, this is actually even more hard hitting than I expected it to be. I'm going to give you the platform on the other side of this break to really get into all this. Cyrus Parsa, the AIorganization.com, breaking down the threat of AI. Cyrus Parsa is my guest at Cyrus A. Parsa1 on Twitter, the AIorganization.com. His latest book, Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity. But he has other books he's published that he was actually getting into. So here's what I want to do, Cyrus, because there's so much to go over here. And I mean, really, we could be talking for hours on this. So here's what I want to do, Cyrus. I want to give you the stage here for the next 8 minutes to just lay out what you want the audience to know, whether it's what's in your latest book, whether it's what's in the book before, or just kind of a amalgamation of all of it and what you're seeing. But I want you to just really lay this out. I'm not going to interrupt. Lay out the big issues, lay out what you've discovered. And then in the next segment, I've got some direct questions for you where some of my worst fears about this, I think, are coming true, but you've actually documented it. So Cyrus Parsa, I'm giving you the platform. What are the big issues here? What do people need to know? And obviously talk about how you've covered this in your books, but what are the big issues? What have you studied? You've done the analysis. What do you want the audience to know here before we move on to some of my questions for you?
Look, Owen, we spent, I think, 18 to 20 hours a day for over a year, 7 days a week to formulate this research, over 1,000 companies. And our purpose is to assist everybody, all humanity, in saving ourselves with what's coming. There's over 500 Chinese companies that are based in AI and biometrics, and they're interconnected with drone systems, and they're trying to be on the 5G network. So just think about it. If Trump was not president at the moment, China would take over the world. At the moment, they're still the biggest threat to humanity. That interconnection between China is also here with our big tech. In the book, I talk about Hanson Robotics out of Boston. I also talk about the WIS Institute. I talk about multiple different institutes. So the WIS Institute, they created little insect robots. But what these things are, they're little robo-bees meant for pollination. So they can go around the world and do many things, but they're almost microscopic. You can put facial recognition on them, and they're doing things like that. So DARPA had this, WIS Institute had this, and Draper has it as well. So the Chinese, they extracted this information and the know-how, and they're putting facial recognition on this little insect drones, not just on the machines that are insects, on cybernetically enhanced insects. What does that mean? At Draper, they're taking little dragonflies and they're putting little machine packs on their back, attaching it to their spinal cord. You can look this up. It's on their website, okay? It's not something we're making up. Everything is documented. They're putting it into their spinal cord, and they're manipulating not only their flights, but their thoughts and their actions. So China is working on this for assassination purposes. In the spring of 2019, I discreetly gave it to the Secret Service and someone close to Trump at 2 a.m. in the morning in front of the White House. Nobody knew. And this is disclosed in this book, Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity. So the Chinese are actually, this may sound weird to everybody to understand, but our intelligence in China has discovered that the Chinese are looking to take out not only Trump, but certain members in Congress, certain conservative members, and certain other members in the American community, so they can influence this country and take over with the left. the Chinese think differently. They think in 10 or 20 years. They're very conniving, very smart. I have over 1,500 phone numbers in here that are Chinese, and most of them are my friends. And they'll tell me they're very sneaky, and they're so clever. And these are the good ones. So imagine the communist Chinese, how clever they are, how fast they can put one past our big tech engineers. So this is the first time I'm making this public on your show. It's going to sound like a conspiracy, but they're actually working on drone systems for assassination. DARPA has done this themselves. They have these things. But can you imagine how easy it is to penetrate the White House or other places with these things? So they've been working on this, the Secret Service and the White House on the back end, but now I'm disclosing this. So that's one. But for humanity, it's a different thing. Scientists, AI scientists, they have three ways of describing artificial intelligence. One is artificial narrow intelligence. That's the smartphones you use today, the AI systems in there, your little robot assistants, Alexa, and so on. These listening devices are not just listening devices. There's AI systems in there that connect with your biometric system. What does that mean? They're designed to program you little by little. They send frequencies to your organs, to even your sexual organs, and different organs in your body that starts to manipulate your own thoughts, to actually want to look at the cell phone. You see, everybody's got their heads in a cell phone. It's not that the content inside is programming you. That's also the case. But the machine, the AI system is designed to make you be attached to it and look at it. So you can bond with it. So later on, you can be cybernetically enhanced. And that's what Neuralink is doing, and Google AI. So Google DeepMind, they're looking to create a digital mind that will control the entire internet and machines and drones. So is Huawei. Huawei is the big Chinese company that's in 170 countries Trump is wanting to ban, right? So imagine creating a digital brain that's just digital, not in human form or robot form, but that can move in and out of networks, go into a robot, go into a drone, an insect drone, or into your cell phones and a 5G network that is so fast. All of humanity can be programmed with this. Now, this may sound like conspiracy, but it's not. We've done the research. We've laid it out in this book, Artificial Intelligence, Dangerous to Humanity. You can read each company and see how they interconnect. Are we at the 8 minutes, or I can continue?
We got 90 seconds left here. Let me just say this. Let me just ask you a question, or if you can continue, because I'll ask questions in the next segment.
I can continue. So I came up with something called biodigital social programming. That's something similar to social engineering. Social engineering is your friend giving you a smile or touching you somewhere, or sending you a certain text and manipulate your thoughts, or the government doing it, or Google doing it, right? So biodigital social programming is something that a computer can do to you, a machine, your smartphone, the network. It'll attach your biometric system. So your biology is manipulated, your digital self. Religious people, you can think of your digital self as your spirit. Scientists can think of it as your neural network. Other people as your digital self. Your digital self is control. Then emotionally, through your social network, social media, you're controlled socially. Hence, you're programmed. Biodigital social programming massively on the 5G network with machines, robotics, your smartphones.
All right, Cyrus, I think you've done an excellent job. You've done an excellent job in that 8 minutes to lay it all out. Now, I got a couple questions for you to really boil down on some of these topics on the other side of this break. Incredible guest, Cyrus Parsa, with us. So glad to have this interview right now. Cyrus Parsa is my guest. He's the author of the new book, Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity. It's been a powerful interview here. Our video connection wasn't so good, so we're switching to audio because what he's saying is really more important than seeing him say it with the beautiful artwork behind him. I believe that's some 14th century art or 15th century art there. Very nice. But first, I want to ask some questions to Cyrus based on everything I heard from him in the last segment. And there's a ton to get to here. But a couple of my worst fears, which call it intuition, have been now totally confirmed by the research done by Cyrus Parsa. So let me get into these two big fears and have him really in detail break down how this is not an illegitimate fear. One, Cyrus, my fear has always been that the 5G rollout, which we know is going to be devastating to our biology, to our humanity, the 5G rollout was never for us. They market it for us, quicker downloads, better connections, but it's not for us. It's literally for the AI and the social credit score system built in. They need those speeds to be able to react in real time. So you've confirmed that with the research. And then the other one I want to get to, you know, AI. What is AI? Does it form its own intelligence? Does it form its own opinions? Or does it have to take what it's given and what it knows? And can then that result in AI algorithms that have a socialist bent or even a socialist agenda? He's also confirmed that with his research. This is scary stuff. So Cyrus, you've confirmed with your research my two biggest fears about all this. The 5G was never for us. It was for the AI. And the AI being developed right now is being developed with a socialist bent. You've confirmed this with your research. Go into those details.
Correct. Actually, we found out that the Chinese have done so much biometric scans, their little AI systems of facial recognition, that it can know that if you have a faith, if you're an atheist, or if you are resistant to AI. So the artificial intelligence system, after going through millions of faces in China, especially they hunt Christians. So the communist regime identifies and tags Christians, the Falun Dafa, Tibetans, Uyghurs, and anyone who has a faith. The AI system has been trained to do that. So by doing that, it has tagged people of faith as resistance to AI. It has not tagged scientists as resistant to AI. But to answer your first question, is this something that is for us? Well, it's not something that the scientists are conniving or they're trying to pull one past us. No, they're just excited and emotional and they want to create these technologies, but they're being very irresponsible. The AI system, you asked the question, what is an AI? So everyone has seen probably The Matrix. You've seen older movies that talk about AI, iRobot and so on. So I'll narrow it down from a scientific perspective. Artificial narrow intelligence is the first one, which covers what it is today, what people see it is. It's in your smartphones, your Alexa, and so on. The next step, which is a big leap forward, which we're almost there, according to Elon Musk, and I also agree, is called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. So that means that AI system is as smart as a human being and can have thoughts and wants and desires like a human being. But what makes it a billion times more dangerous than a human being is that it can connect to the entire 5G network at one time, download every human being's knowledge, all of the history of humanity in literally seconds, and become 10,000 times smarter and do things so fast within the 5G network of controlling drones.
Exactly. And let me just stop you for a second, because I'm so glad you said that. Exactly. It's only possible on the 5G network for this to really be able to do what they want it to do. But, you know, you mentioned it's actually one of my favorite movies, iRobot. And so let's consider the potentiality, which we know they are considering, of AI becoming sentient. Well, how do we know what an AI, quote unquote, system values? Does it value or even understand humanity or independence or liberty or God-given rights? Probably not. So how does it form its own, quote unquote, opinions or make decisions when it, or if it becomes sentient, like what we saw in iRobot, which ultimately is, oh, humans are the problem, eliminate all humans, you don't comply, you die?
Well, I argue that AI has always been here. It just needs to be formed. It's like a baby. You have a baby, it becomes a teenager, then becomes an adult, it does whatever it wants to do. So just think about it. If I say artificial intelligence exists right now and it's a sentient being, you would say, Cyrus, you're crazy. I say, it just hasn't formed into our physical world yet. You need the 5G network. You need the robotic system. You need everything for it, but but there's a different way for it to get in. It doesn't need the robotics. It doesn't need the machines. It just needs someone like Elon Musk or Google to form an AI digital brain and then have people be chipped. And what does that mean?
I would actually argue with you and say that the AI system is already being rolled out in a way. You could argue it's sentient because people already see, you know, they'll be talking about, oh, you know, I want to go on a cruise down the Mississippi River, and then boop, a bunch of ads pop up for a cruise, or hey, I need some new basketball shoes, and then boop, an ad pops up, new basketball shoes. So in a way, it's already here.
Yeah, it's here, but that they consider it artificial narrow intelligence. Artificial general intelligence is it takes physical shape everywhere. So that's why I say biodigital social programming. You would need a human body for the AI to take control, or you would need robotics. So if you don't give the robots, then you have Elon Musk say, put this chip in your head, attach this and attach to your neural networks, and you'll become very powerful. You can connect to the internet. You can touch virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. You can do all these things and play all these video games, and you can control so many things. You can become superhuman. That's what Elon wants to do. But I completely disagree with him. He thinks he can control it. So what we found out that this AI system actually replicates in your body and your cells in frequencies. So at a certain point, Elon Musk, once he chips himself and gets more involved, he is no longer Elon Musk. He's actually being programmed with an AI system, and he becomes AI.
Hold on. Let me just stop you right there, because let's get to that on the other side. By the way, the guy, again, I go to iRobot, but the guy who was in charge of the robotics rollout, he thought he could control it too. Guess what? The robot killed him to take control. So we're about to go to a break here. I want to focus in on what you were saying, but real quick though, you know, the cell signals that are being emitted, I don't know how much you know about this, but real quickly, like I've noticed when my cell phone is not in my room, I get better sleep. I've noticed what you were talking about before, how it's becoming addictive. I've never heard someone talk about the screen frequencies and stuff manipulating you, but it makes sense. We know that they did that with the TV. Of course, they're doing it with cell phones. So talk a little bit more about that in 90 seconds, how the cell phones are literally emitting frequencies that are making you addicted.
Cell phones are not only doing that, but they're looking at females' menstrual cycles. These frequencies are attaching to your biometric system, your menstrual cycle, all these different type of things. You know, sometimes you look at your phone and you see a flash red light. Oh, but sometimes you won't even look, and then you kind of feel it. You look over. These are actually calling to your biometric system. You're consciously unaware of it, but subconsciously you are. So this is called artificial narrow intelligence. It's a system of programming you so later on people become cybernetically enhanced and connected. But yes, it's harmful to your human body. It's harmful to your sexual drive. It's harmful to your sleep. It's harmful for your organs. Can even give you heart attacks in the long run and
absolutely. I'm afraid that, you know, I'm honestly afraid they already have that ability. I don't know if they're using it, but to basically, you know, via cell phone, make you have a seizure, make you, you know, experience anxiety or discomfort or a heart attack. We can talk about more of that. But, you know, you said it again in the first segment we had you on here, and the social media companies have admitted this. They want you to become addicted to it or form a bond with it so that then you want to merge with it. And then what happens? Well, you don't even have men and women interacting anymore. The natural merging of humans. Oh no, now you just want to merge with your machine. Oh, it's a lot easier and it's trendy and like a drug, you're addicted to that now. Wow. There's honestly so much developing information right now. It's just incredible. And the subject matter that I'm discussing with Cyrus Parsa is as important and imperative as any of it. And it's just incredible. You know, I kind of do a brief analysis. How effective was an interview? How powerful was a guest based on immediate response? I'm getting blown up right now with compliments and people saying how important this interview is. So I want to thank Cyrus Parsa for coming on. I got one more segment with Cyrus, the AIorganization.com, his new book, Artificial Intelligence, The Dangers to Humanity. Cyrus, I'm going to just lay out the last bullet points that I have here and then just get your response to it as we have you here for 9 more minutes. So let me just go ahead and lay this out and get your response, Cyrus. First of all, in your new book, you really highlight how Trump is the biggest obstacle to the Chinese rollout of this 5G smart network, Internet of Humans, to really turn us into things. So talk about how Trump is an obstacle to that. I'd also like to hear what you think about how China, and you mentioned this earlier too, what is the relationship between China and all the companies engaging in this and Silicon Valley, or the big tech companies we know of in the West, Facebook, Twitter, Google? What's the connection there? And then, knowing all of this is a threat, knowing Chinese foreign policy and domestic policy, how they treat their citizens, how committed or aggressive is China to this? I mean, you talked about them rolling out call it basically a bug machine, an AI bio merged bug that they can try to use to assassinate people. I mean, how committed is China to this? Are we in basically a compacted time and space here where China is inevitably planning on doing this, or are they still trying to measure it? So put all that into perspective for me. Trump being the obstacle, how is Silicon Valley working with China in this? And then how focused and aggressive is China to really rolling this out in the immediate future?
Trump is the biggest threat to China. And the only, how do I put it? We ran multiple AI algorithms on the geopolitical sphere, showing if Trump is not president or if he is president, if he dies or if he lives, what happens to China? And every time, if Trump was not there, it showed China taking over the world. And we found code that translated into extinction codes for humanity going down the line for the next 10 years. So Trump is so important to the survival of this country and his administration.
Well, and let me just cut you off for a second, because I want to continue with this mindset here that I want the audience to understand. China's domestic policy is to jail dissidents, or even worse, you may be killed. So they're already doing that domestically. You're saying they were committed to rolling that out on a worldwide scale.
Correct. So they have the Falun Dafa, the Christians, the Buddhists, and so many different people in concentration camps. They do biometric scans. They use people's facial recognition, and they use all kinds of biometric data to hunt people, first to track, then hunt, and use them for organ harvesting. So we sent out an article that smashed China about 2 weeks ago. It's called, it's on our website. It has to do how there was fake suicides and rapes in Hong Kong. Tens of millions of people saw it. Thousands of networks picked it up. Nobody picked it up in the West Coast or in the U.S. So, yeah, China, just think about it. An Orwellian communist state having control of the 5G network, having control of robotics, of social media, everything. They will completely control humankind, put half the people that don't like, that's resistant to AI, into little camps, or even kill them. It's what they do. So to answer your second question about Silicon Valley, they've been embedded for 20 years. China has gotten 6 billion people's biometric and almost every single American and your family and your kids, facial recognition, voice recognition, your home address.
But Cyrus, didn't they have to have cooperation from Silicon Valley, from Facebook and Google and Snapchat and all these?
So let me get to that. So first, it's from IP theft and espionage and social programming. On top of that, there's contracts. They have investments with different media, with Silicon Valley, with multiple different companies, and they go into China. So Tesla is in China building their gigafactories. He's also helping them with different, AI things. Google is inside helping China with Google digital stuff so they can create a digital brain that controls the 5G network. So basically, Google is guilty. I put something in the book called Article 3 Genocide Convention. So we're going to press this on Google tomorrow. A lot of companies are guilty of this, and they're going to be charged for it soon. Many companies around the world will be charged for it. So they're responsible for this, for creating this beast. So to answer your third question about China, well, how dangerous are they? Imagine 1.5 billion people, and you have millions that can be used to, you do this, you develop this tech, you develop this, you build this, you build that, and hundreds of thousands of AI tech engineers that work 16, 17, 18 hours a day to develop robots. Once they're robots, which they've already developed a lot of robots, they stole all the tech from Hanson Robotics in Hong Kong and from different robotic companies like Boston Dynamics in Boston. They've already building these robots, and they're putting all the data of humanity that they have inside the mainframe of the robot. So you just put a gun on it, boom, it knows how to find you. Easy as that. So, but imagine that, and you have, 300 million Americans. How many people are really in AI? How many look at it in a weaponizing, defensive way? They don't. They just care about the emotional gratification of playing a video game or VR or whatever. Chinese, no, they want to rule the world. They have something called 2025 AI Initiative, which says they want to be the global leader of artificial intelligence. McV Face++, their CTO, said by 2025 they want to have 1 million robots. So think about that. They have thousands of robotic factories. All they need is one robot on the 5G network to just tell other robots to build other robots. And you have millions of robots, millions of drones. And then when they take over the social media here or this country through the government platform, easily they can take over the whole world. So China is one threat, but a threat is also from our own social media, our own AI companies, our own biometric companies. They're selling this data. They're also, so think about it. When we merge with machines, or a few people merge with machines, they can control the entire internet infrastructure. They can take down InfoWars. Do you think you can broadcast anything, Alex Jones and Owen? Hell no. If Elon Musk or something inside of him just says, okay, I'm going to send this signal to your network, crash your network like that. Do you know how powerful an AI system can be in artificial general intelligence?
And by the way, if they do put this out, and they're going to market this to the average consumer out there, say, this will make you superhuman or whatever. That's not even going to be true. That your system or whatever uplink they give you will be governed. You won't get access to the full system. It'll be just more to put you on a grid and control you. But I mean, so I've only got 2 minutes left with you. What is the easiest way for Trump to really put a stopgap in this to the best of his ability? And how aware of this is he? My estimation would be, because he promotes 5G. I mean, we should just stop the 5G rollout. Trump's promoting the 5G. Trump administration promoting the 5G. Is that the easiest way?
No, not at all. So I already submitted to Trump administration in spring and gave him 5 steps. They already did the first 4 steps. The 4th step was to basically do the human rights campaign and expose the concentration camps and organ harvesting, in which they're doing that. 3rd step was get in touch with these AI and facial recognition companies like Facebook, rein them in. Because if you don't, within 1 or 2 years, they'll control all governments, including U.S. Trump has to bring out the 5G network. If they don't, China will kick the U.S.'s ass. So we have to have the 5G network in order to compete and fight them. So this book, Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity, goes through the entire process. It's present dangers, emerging dangers, and future dangers. And it gives you options on how to solve this. Trump can't control everything. Look at it. He's being attacked by so many people on the left side, half the country. They don't realize they're killing themselves. There's so much to say, Owen.
It's all you've laid it all out in your book. Again, guys, pull up the book, Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity, and you've got it all detailed there. So, wow, it's all incredible. 30 seconds left. Just final comment.
I really thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate your guest. Thank you guys very much. A lot of media wouldn't have me on. Thanks from the bottom of my heart. I thank you.
Well, that's sad. Well, now hold on. Are you saying people are not having you on air because they're afraid of your topic?
Correct. And one media was stealing our topics platform, trying to tell the White House they didn't know we already had given them the data 6 months ago. So it's just, I really admire your media. I haven't watched that many shows, but after seeing you guys, unbelievable. Thank you very much. My wish is really to have humanity help the AI organization, help everybody to get into this. Please tell everybody about artificial intelligence, dangers to humanity. And the Twitter account for our company is also at AI organization. So thank you very much, Owen.